Welcome to The Jung and the Restless. I'm Victor.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Olivia. And this is the podcast where if you Google the color blue, the first image, that's the shade of blue we're talking about.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I dreamt I had a soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, will that dream just go on for its own sake?
Speaking of sleep phenomenon, I sleepwalked recently, which hasn't happened to my knowledge in a lot. I used to do it regularly in like middle school and high school.
Yeah, but do you only know about it because Shelby's there?
I know about it because Shelby was there and two of Shelby's close friends. When we were back in Denver and in the week that we were there, like me meeting her family and everything, I also met some of her friends and we went out drinking. And I think that because in the past, like poor sleep has brought it on. Like I would have insomnia for nights in a row and then I would sleepwalk. And I think like, maybe stressing out about the trip itself leading up to it and then, having a fitful night of half drunken sleep on a couch may have caused this to happen. But the way I found out is these friends several days later went to cook. Like I guess they had just eaten out for a few days in a row and they went in the cupboard and pulled out a skillet or whatever, like a big pan. And it was full of mold that smelled a lot like urine.
Oh my God, I was going to ask, did you pee in the skillet? It's always peeing.
Oh, man.
Yep.
That's like a drunk sleepwalking thing, though. Like,
I mean,
peeing in the cabinet. I think that's like specifically a drinking thing.
I think that contributes to the full bladder for sure. But like pee was a cornerstone of my sleepwalking as a kid before I had ever had a drop of alcohol. I guess if you're just up and about like acting out your dreams and you also have to pee, typically if you're in bed, your body wakes you, your dream wakes you, whatever wakes you up to be like, hey dude, you have to pee. But if you're already acting everything out anyway.
Was this like a low cupboard? Was it?
I don't know. I was out.
Because I'm picturing you like pissing in a pan and then carefully putting it back into the cupboard.
I think I had to open a door. Because they didn't immediately discover it. They didn't discover it until they needed that pan.
So I've known 3 people to do this exact thing. And in every single one of them, it was that they got up, they walked over to a cabinet, opened it, and peed in it. Like it was like the toilet. Like they were lifting the toilet seat or whatever.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not alone. Yeah.
And I think all of them closed it too, to my knowledge. Because it was like a thing that that wasn't found until later,
Yeah.
So these poor women had to pull a moldy piss pan out.
Yeah, well, it was a couple. It was a couple
trying to cook eggs.
That's pretty terrible, honestly.
And you've left like rancid piss in their house.
Yeah, I'm mortified,
man.
So I decided to talk about it on the pod.
Yeah, first time meeting these people.
I know, we hit it off too.
I'm so sorry.
Apparently they weren't mad, but there are a couple of partiers. I think they get it.
I wouldn't be mad if that happened in our house. Like that would be gross, but like that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, but like you didn't choose to do that.
No, it's not like, what the fuck, Shelby? Your boyfriend pissed in our cabinet.
Yeah, it was. Obviously not like some weird prank.
You just have to look appropriately ashamed when everyone's talking about it. You can't be like, yeah, that was me.
Can you imagine if that was like your thing that you did as a prank though? Like,
yeah, that'd be a cool guy. Find the pee.
Come on, babe, it's my thing.
This is my whole personality. I piss in cupboards.
I just
do the thing.
I just drank to cover it up. Like, yeah, it was totally because I was drinking.
I can't quit you, piss drawer Johnny.
But it's not like I
I don't know why I love you so.
But yeah, I think the alcohol was definitely a contributing factor because I'm also not the only person I know. I mean, the same friend, like a few weeks prior, had peed in her own closet after drinking.
Okay, well then that's fine.
Yeah, that's just what they do in that house. I was just honoring their customs. I was just respecting their culture.
Honestly, like, would have been impolite if you didn't.
Yeah, now I'm not sure it was you.
I just hope I used the right. No, there was incriminating evidence because I left my pants in the kitchen.
Oh, I was going to say, like, did you leave a calling card? You fully left your pants there.
Yeah.
You took your whole pants off.
Yeah, like a little kid using a freshly potty trained kid. I mean, I did worse than a freshly potty trained kid.
Oh God, we're in for so much mess cleanup.
Mm-hmm. Hide your pots and pans.
My brother used to sleepwalk when he was a kid, and he would do weird things. Like he'd end up there was one time where he was sitting in the bathtub, and I walked in there and he had already gone to bed, and I was like, wait, why is he in the bathtub? And he was sitting in there and he had the water on full cold, and he had taken his pants off but was wearing a shirt, and he was just holding a roll of toilet paper. And I was like, Jack, are you I was like, are you taking a bath? Is that cold? And he goes, no, it's just really cold.
That's the thing. Because what I did was definitely like drunken behavior, but it's not like I blacked out that night. I remember going to bed. But that's not an uncommon story, like you said, the peeing where you're not supposed to after having drank. So I would like to take a poll of people who have done stuff like that after drinking and find out if they also used to sleepwalk, and if there's something about drinking as an adult that can trigger whatever it was that made you do it as a kid. Sleepwalk, I mean.
You should do a science experiment.
My go-to, say that like I chose to do any of this, as a little kid would be, we had all the bedrooms and two of the bathrooms and all the bedrooms were upstairs, and I would get up in the middle of the night and come downstairs to that like half bath that was down there. My parents would be down there watching TV, and they're like, what you doing, buddy? And I wouldn't answer. I'd just walk right past them, go into the bathroom, piss all over the floor. And then I would go back upstairs, go to their bedroom, turn their TV on, strip all the bedding off their bed, and then like lay back down in their bed. I did that multiple times.
That's very specific.
Yeah, I seem to, like, as a kid anyway, and like even through like high school a little bit, gravitate towards like wanting to move soft things like clothes and bedding and put it somewhere else in the room. Like I would empty sock drawers and like pile all the socks like into the corner of the room, like try to stuff it in the corner of the room. Like
anti-cozy, like want just a bare bed, we're very different.
You and me?
Yeah, I want to be covered in like a pile of soft blankets.
You don't know, you haven't met Sleepwalking Victor.
That's true. Could be into like, I don't know.
Do you know
hanging upside down like a bat from the rafters?
Do you know what causes it? Either of you? Is it like the opposite of sleep paralysis where you don't?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a sleep disorder. But yeah.
Because
I don't know.
The biological function at play when you have sleep paralysis is like you wake up too soon or whatever. And so
the mechanic that keeps you from acting out your dreams is still on.
Right.
When you wake up. So yeah, sleepwalking would probably be the opposite of that it never gets turned, or it gets turned off while you're asleep.
So that suggests that there should be like a sleepwalking version of the Hat Man.
Maybe you can just see him while you're sleepwalking.
Or maybe you are him. Maybe he is you. Maybe we are all together.
And he's
cuckoo cachoo.
He's called the Piss Man. In my case.
Mixing Beatles songs.
Once you're halfway there,
I am the walrus.
Keep going.
I am the Hat Man.
I once put a bunch of clean clothes in the dryer and then peed in it.
Oh my God. I hope our kid does not sleepwalk.
I'm really not cut out for parenthood. I'm not prepared for any of this. Oh man.
Well, it's going to be Olivia's kid, so I'm sure it won't have any sleep disorders. I wonder if those are genetic though, or if they're just totally random.
I feel like probably a mix of both.
You know,
I think it's environmental too. Like it's stressed out, anxious, like people with trauma and all kinds of stuff that can affect it.
You think that's the root of or part of your narcolepsy?
Oh no, that's definitely like an ADHD thing.
Oh,
yeah. She wasn't talking about her. She was saying everybody else that has sleep disorders, all of them have those emotional traumas.
I was talking about sleepwalking. specifically. I've heard that like sleepwalking in kids can be like, your kid's got like some stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. My brother seemed fine, I guess.
Wait, so if our kid sleepwalks, not only are they going to like piss on the bed, but also people are going to be like, wow, nice parenting.
I had a good childhood.
It is hereditary, and but it can also, wait, let's see. Lack of sleep or extreme fatigue or stress.
That's okay. Yeah, that was what I was guessing. Because like I said, I would have insomnia for like a few days in a row. And then when I finally went to sleep, I would sleepwalk. And I think my theory as of now is that alcohol can do a similar thing because it gives you really poor quality sleep.
Some things that can cause this are illness, noisy new environment, lack of sleep, stress, some medications, or sleeping with a full bladder.
It's all coming together. Yeah.
You said, like in the last couple of times we recorded that like you started having like anxiety, like panic attack stuff when you were pretty young too, right? Like elementary school?
Yeah, 2nd grade.
Is the timing kind of the same? Because like I'm wondering if there's like a stress connection between your sleepwalking and all that. Yeah,
actually, the house that I'm referring to
Really?
with the 2 levels where I would come downstairs to pee on the floor, that would have been before 4th grade.
Yeah, that's interesting. So those could be both tied into like the anxiety stuff. Yeah.
That tracks.
Or you're going to bed with a full bladder.
Hey, we got somewhere and we haven't even done a dream yet.
Mm-hmm.
We should do that.
Do a dream?
Dream?
Yeah.
All right.
Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream until your dreams come true.
We need you to do that again, but like really commit this time.
I like, that's AC/DC, right? Or,
No.
who is it?
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
That's right.
Right. I don't like Aerosmith, but that song slaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's the one that doesn't really sound like Aerosmith.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's their best song by a
because
mile.
I don't like Aerosmith. I don't like AC/DC either.
I like I like Aerosmith.
That's fine.
You're welcome to like them. Lots
you're
of people
entitled to
like
it.
them.
There might be like deep cuts that I don't know about, but there's definitely a lot of Aerosmith songs I've heard that I did not like.
Yeah.
Hotel California.
It's what?
No, kidding. Sorry.
Okay. It's clouded in nostalgia for me though. My mom loved Aerosmith.
I gotcha.
Big part of growing up.
I feel that way about Kiss. Kiss is that for me. It's like I have a nostalgia connection to Kiss.
I could name a couple Kiss songs, but I couldn't sing you a bar of any of them. I don't know how they have like zero relationship.
Yeah, I don't know that I
Kiss.
I don't know that I could sing along anymore, but I know some of them. Anyway, your dream, Zach. You're gonna tell us about your
We still want to do my
super
dream?
cool dream.
Yes.
I don't think we have any other options.
Okay.
I would hate to do your dream, but I don't think we have a better choice. So.
I feel that. So this dream is from couple nights ago. See, I didn't actually write it down in my notes. I have to find the text that I sent to Shelby the next day. Okay. I had a dream that I was an apprentice to an eccentric aristocrat, learning to also be a weird rich guy. We were wearing powdered wigs and eating vegan protein shaped like whole chickens. They were like, it looked like rotisserie chickens, but it was, seitan or whatever. And that was one course. And then they brought out another course after that meal, which was a bunch of silver plates, each with one bill of different currency on each plate. So I remember one had like a single Japanese yen on it, but it looked like a giant Mario coin. Like, I don't know what yen looks like, but I'm sure it's not that. But in the dream, I was like, oh, big coin, that's Japanese.
God, I wish that's what it was, though. And you had to like jump and hit blocks to get them. Well, that's just how things worked over there. Man, that'd be great.
That's why their economy is doing so well. And then like another silver plate had a USD currency, but it was for $10,000. It was a $10,000 bill.
Fancy.
And then at a certain point, I had to run an errand for this guy at a movie theater. And Shelby drove me to the movie theater. And I was just wearing a pink shirt and pink underwear. And Shelby was like, that's not going to work. And she handed me a blue shirt and blue underwear and was like, change as soon as we get in there. And so I just stormed into this movie theater and stormed right past the usher and went into the bathroom and changed. And that's all I remember.
You've had quite a few like movie theater dreams.
I was just going to say, I remember you having the Shelby dream where you were trying to get to the movie theater.
Yeah, and we never made it.
Right. Huh. I will say, total aside from the dream for a second, but they updated the description of Dream Bible to include that they're using ChatGPT now.
Oh.
Yep.
That explains so much of the... Wait, no, actually it doesn't.
That's new. Inspired by the work of Gillian Holloway, PhD, we are using multiple databases of dream reports with the aid of ChatGPT to create the world's most practical
it's
dream
probably still fine.
It's probably still fine,
That
but
sounds-
it's interesting that they tweaked that. That means this is active. There are people currently working away,
They should
plugging
use,
away at this thing.
Honestly, it's going to make it a lot better.
Yeah.
As far as the stuff we've run into, yeah, it's going to help.
Yeah, I mean, the Dream Bible has been like eerily accurate and salient, but they should use ChatGPT to help clean up some of the grammar.
What
Man,
if,
that'd
like,
be such a project.
yeah,
But not for
but, like,
AI.
what if it ruins it?
Someone has to like go through and copy all of them and update the website.
Yeah, it's a job.
Yeah.
That's what a job is.
I feel like AI will make it easier than actually copy editing all of the unhinged nonsense on Dream Bible.
No, you're just taking entries and you're like, make this make sense. And ChatGPT is like, I cannot. I don't even know where to begin.
Okay, so it started with the like powdered wig aristocrat guy, and you were
I was an apprentice, and like
an apprentice.
what I was learning to do was be an old rich weirdo.
Okay.
Like I remember feeling that was my my goal or my mission or like my station in life was to be under this guy's wing. This harmless weirdo, by the way, not like not an Epstein
like
kind of weird rich
eccentric-
guy, but yeah.
Eccentric millionaire type.
It's a hell of a binary.
What?
Like normal rich guys and Epstein types. That's like, man, that's a hard.
Well, when you throw in
I
the
feel like I've met some
Categorization.
in-betweeners.
when you throw in
know?
the word weird, like when you think weird and rich, you go to either harmless,
Like kind of
or-
fun or
Yeah,
or
I'd say like most of them are kind of right in the middle of that.
yeah.
most rich
Like
guys.
that- They'll dabble in the Epstein stuff. They've dipped a toe into the shores of Epstein Island. But
I don't know, like I'm thinking like Elon Musk isn't like Epstein awful, you know? But like
are they gonna take this
Probably
podcast
not.
down? Are we allowed to?
We're saying he's not.
Right.
at least to my knowledge. But he's not just like a harmless weirdo.
No, I
Okay,
guess
I think-
yeah. This dream character had like an old money vibe. This felt very. We were in like a New England mansion with lattice works of vines growing up the side. Like, I mean, the fucking powdered wigs felt emblematic of that like old money, old guy weirdo. The like
Picturing like the
Excep-
Monopoly guy.
eccentric and eclectic, but ultimately harmless, like a fun grandpa with lots of money.
You're hanging. What I'm picturing is, do you remember that episode of Over the Garden Wall with the with the rich uncle? That's what I'm picturing.
Me too.
Yeah. Have you seen that show?
I have not.
You
Okay,
should
well-
absolutely. You and Shelby should watch that show together.
Oh,
Over
yeah.
the garden wall.
100% watch that show.
fall
It's very
season.
good.
It'll be a new favorite.
Yeah. You guys
It's-
will love it.
I'll bookmark it.
Shelby, you can thank us later.
Yeah, you're welcome, Shelby.
But so, rich guy, you're his apprentice to yourself become an eccentric rich guy
Yeah,
down the road.
as if that was my like the job description, being rich and weird and old.
So, and there was money on dinner
Silver
silver
platters.
plates.
Yeah, first before that, a long part of the dream. There's like an extended sequence. I sort of breezed over it in this text, but an extended sequence was eating a dinner that was almost entirely vegan protein.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like there were no side dishes. There was no vegetables. It was all just protein, and it was all, fake vegan shit, like seitan or tofu or whatever. But all of it was shaped like I said like rotisserie chickens, but I remember there were also steaks and ribs and like other things that like very much looked like they came from an animal, but very much didn't.
That feels like it's, I don't know, that feels like it resonates with the idea that he is teaching you, Zach, how to be a rich, like a wealthy guy. And so like all of this extravagant food is like tailored to your tastes.
Yeah, that is what I would eat a lot of that if I had that kind of money.
The dishes entry is interesting. To dream of dishes represents ideas, beliefs, or situations that are being handed to the dreamer. What one has received or hopes to receive from others. You may feel that life is handing you a certain experience on a platter.
Yeah, and these were literally like silver platters.
And it was like money on platters, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start chugging through these entries in order. And then Liv, if you want to throw in some additional entries, we should do that. But
Sounds
okay.
good.
So I've got rich and wealthy because I couldn't find something for like a rich guy or an aristocrat. I couldn't find something like that. But rich, to dream of being rich represents a constant sense of power or confidence in your abilities. You may have a lot of skill or resources, feeling nothing can stop you. Being rich may also reflect your feelings of being the best at something. And wealth, to dream of being wealthy, represents a sense of accomplishment or resourcefulness. You have set out to do what you said you would. It may also reflect total power or control over some area of your life. You or someone else that never feels limited or held back. In the dream, you're being taught how to be a rich guy. But do you feel that you already were
No.
wealthy?
No.
You were not wealthy, but you were being taught how to be wealthy.
Yeah. No, I felt like I felt like a well taken care of intern.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I myself had no money.
Okay.
And that felt relevant in the end sequence when I was running around in only a t-shirt and underwear.
Huh.
No more.
Wait, how did you end up in just a t-shirt and underwear?
I don't know. It's just Shelby was driving me to the theater to run this errand, and I was only wearing a t-shirt and underwear that were pink. And she was like, "That's not good enough. Here, wear this." And it's the same exact outfit, but it's blue.
And then you ran straight for the bathroom.
Yeah, to change into the blue outfit.
And then as you were changing, you woke up?
I don't remember that's as much as I remember of the dream.
Gotcha. Okay. I looked up meat. I know that's not exactly accurate here, but I'm working with what I've got. Because it sounds like it being like meat product, like trying to emulate meat or whatever, is like maybe meat is the symbolism there, and it's just
Yeah, I think we could take
by
that
your-
and put it in the context of whatever vegan means to me.
Yeah,
Right.
because I don't think we're gonna get there with like tofu or
Right.
whatever.
No, yeah, I
Right.
think there was a significance to the fact that it looked just like real meat.
Yeah.
Right. So to dream of cooked meat represents situations or experiences that sustain you with a sense of strength, confidence, or power. The strongest option to sustain or stabilize yourself with. Choices that let you feel strength with control, leadership, or having your way. A strong choice that sustains you or lets you feel bigger than others. Feelings about being able to be reckless if you want to.
Okay.
So that seems similar to like the wealth and rich stuff. It's like, coming into your power, having authority and confidence and strength and all of those things.
Yeah, so far
Kind of like,
this all feels very positive in a way that doesn't resonate with my actual like current situation. But the fact that I was like an intern or an apprentice might make sense of that.
yeah, I think it's like maybe pointing towards like an aspiration for like maybe a version of yourself that has, got everything figured out or whatever. Like you want to learn how to be that version of yourself. Silverware. To dream of a silverware set represents a sophisticated, intelligent, or mature approach to an experience you are having. Having an adult conversation with someone, a special or rare occasion in a relationship. Alternatively, silverware may reflect experiences which require a higher than normal show of integrity or respect. Difficult or serious conversations about topics that are rarely discussed.
Is there just an entry for silver?
Perhaps. There is. The color silver in dreams is symbolic of the intuition, luck, or coincidences. Your intuition or internal guidance helps you make choices to lead you to what you need in life. New insight, power, or freedom gained by chance. It's negative to dream of silver objects represents your sense of intuition or luck that is associated with whatever the object symbolizes.
And so it's the dishes of, and that was like being handed something or hoping to be handed something.
Okay. So it's all so far. It feels like very like aspirational. It's like your dreams kind of getting laid out of like
and putting
like
a lot of like
if onlys,
putting a lot of faith in them, which does resonate right now. I feel like I'm currently in a position of there's a lot of I've done everything I can going on.
Sure.
And a lot of like the rest is up to the universe, I guess. Like
Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah. I am feeling a lot of surrender these days to like all these bold moves are going to pay off or they're not. And I kind of, made my bed. So a lot of this is resonating. Yeah.
Are you trying to like how are you thinking about that? Or like how are you processing that right now? Like is it like are you feeling anxiety about how things might go wrong? Are you focused more on like fantasizing about how things will be better when they've worked out? Are you trying to not think about it? Like how are you sitting with that situation that you're describing?
Yeah, I think it has been very stressful, but I think I'm more on a day-to-day basis stressed about the minutia, like the little maintenance kind of things. Like we're living on the shoestring budget and like doing the budget, getting into Excel and like dealing with the details has been stressful, but on a big picture, I think I'm doing everything right. And I feel like, or everything like authentic to my best judgment. And, like moving Shelby down here, that was a bold move. Choosing to be in LA at all is starting to feel like a bold move. I've got irons in the fire that I think are going to pay dividends. And we're getting closer to that, but it's still kind of a gamble, and that's all like stressful to have like that many balls in the air. But what all of this is making me think of is, or what it's bringing up for me is that I do feel like these were all the right calls, and the worst case scenario isn't that bad, and the best case scenario is really awesome. So if I've done everything I can, and I feel like I have, and continue to do everything I can, then the best case scenario, I mean, it's going to pan out the way it's going to pan out, and I'm not going to have any regrets about that.
Do you mind if I ask what the worst case scenario is in your mind?
Worst case scenario would be like no job prospects work out in LA, and Shelby and I together can't afford to be here, and we both have to go back to Colorado.
Gotcha.
And and because like both of our families live there, and there's a support network there, and like that would be, because worst case scenario, we're not going to be homeless. We're not, which is something that like as stressful as it's been lately, that sort of makes you confront like, well, what actually is worst case scenario? Because somewhere in the back of your mind, you go, worst case scenario is like being homeless or dead or whatever. But it's usually not that dire if you have some kind of support network or privilege.
Yeah.
So when confronted with it in reality, you realize, no, worst case scenario is we go back to Colorado. We're not going to break up. So we'll do what we have to do and get whatever jobs we have to back home. And that would be a bummer, but like we would do it with the knowledge that we tried really hard for the things that mattered to us. And that's not a shameful position to end up in. It's much better than the alternative regret of not trying and wondering what could have come of trying.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I do feel good about everything, everything we're doing and every decision we're making. I feel stressed about the conditions in which they're happening and the rate at which things are panning out or not panning out. Things
you
like
guys,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it feels like things are unfolding quickly and slowly at the same time. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. I think I would have a really hard time with feeling like, well, I've done everything I can. It's in the hands of fate now. We have to see how things shake out. I'm sure you're having a hard time with that too. It's like, when it feels like there's like an axe hanging over your neck, it's like you want to be able to take action. You want to be able to do something. And telling yourself you can't, it can drive you kind of crazy, right? Or like it's a totally different, for someone like you and me, like we're similar in that we are like anxiously driven to action. We're like anxious, and so we're always doing something, right?
Yeah,
and so
sure.
It's super uncomfortable to be like, I'm anxious, but there's nowhere for me to put that energy. I just have to redirect it. I cannot do anything. But I don't know. We're almost getting away from the dream a little bit, but like I'm interested. Like, are you guys like on the same page about what? Like, do you have an idea of this is when we leave LA, or this is when we make XYZ hard decision? It's
clear to us on a intuitive or spiritual level that we're on the same page. I mean, she has a daughter back in Colorado, and that's a big thing. If she can't create a life in LA sooner than later where she can spend a lot of time in Colorado, which means she has to have financial freedom to be able to do that, then this isn't going to be viable for her. And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And that, that is a big source of anxiety. There's a lot of we'll cross that bridge when we come to it going on right now.
Sure. Yeah.
How were you feeling in the dream?
Good. It was an overwhelmingly positive dream.
And the second part at the movie theater, did you feel the same there?
Yeah, that was more stressful and urgent, but it was driven by positivity. It was like, I have to do this and I have to do it well because it matters to me. It matters to my boss, and I care about this situation. I'm not worried about getting in trouble. I want to do well.
How'd you feel about the clothes? Your first outfit and then the changing?
In the dream, it was just a matter of fact.
Okay. You didn't feel anything about the clothes?
Yeah, no, I just sort of accepted that for some reason blue was better than pink.
And it felt like Shelby was kind of in charge of that decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like that wasn't an order from the boss man. It felt like she was helping me. Like she was involved, like helping me with this task by driving me to the theater, and then was giving me her 2 cents, like, hey, I think this would be way better.
Okay. And then when she did that, you felt like you just accepted, like,
I agreed.
Well, this sure must be better. Like,
yeah, I kind of blindly agreed because I just trust her opinion on that kind of thing, which does feel reflective of real life.
Okay.
It's been really good for me to have like a second opinion on a lot of things, specifically her opinion. I think she's savvy in a lot of departments that I'm not. She's very socially and emotionally intelligent. I have my own different set of intelligences, but like I find myself writing emails to clients and what have you, and having her read them before I send them because she's just good at that kind of thing. And that's what that reminded me of in the dream. Is like, oh yeah, totally, I trust you.
Mm. Yeah, sometimes I think about how Olivia is like the more socially savvy of the two of us, and then I realize how fucked we are. Okay, I'm gonna read a couple more entries. There's money, right? Because money was like literally like different kinds of money out on platters. To dream of money represents the power to attain goals or objectives. The objectives can be psychological, emotional, or achieving desired experiences in waking life. You're able to think, feel, or do what you want in life. Money reflects how powerful you or some aspect of your personality is. Self-worth. Positively, money may reflect possibility, power, and opportunity, valuable advice, feeling capable. Then there's negative money, having no money, finding money, dream of winning money, dream of stealing money, to be robbed of money, to be given money. Does that click?
Felt like you said you felt like you had no money though, right?
Yeah. I felt like I was my real self in this dream. Like my actual...
Do you feel... Sorry.
No, just my actual like lot in life, except that I had this big opportunity to be mentored into a higher station.
Did it feel as if you were being given that money when it was being presented on platters, or was it more like to look at and not yours?
It was like
Or to look
educational.
at. Gotcha. There's giving money away, counting money, bad or evil people having money. That's it.
It's interesting that money doesn't mean money in the Dream Bible.
I know money is power.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
But also like but not an external power necessarily. It can
Yeah.
also be like internal power,
Yeah,
and
it talks a
internal
lot
strength.
about like self-worth.
Yeah, in the dream, it had this, the money presentation, almost as if it was like a course and dinner. It had this feeling like it was like the first part where we're eating the vegan meats was like the whole thing was a crash course on what rich people do. It's like, first we're going to eat opulently, and then you're going to learn the difference between different kinds of currency, including ones that you didn't know existed, like the $10,000 bill. Because these are things you didn't need to know as a poor person because you weren't trading stocks. You didn't need to know what the yen was worth. But as a rich guy, this is going to matter to you. Like that's like the kind of educational that it had the vibe of.
You're going to need to know all about stocks and bonds and yen and USD.
And big old
When you're a rich
Mario
guy.
coins. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Should we call you back?
Yeah, sure.
Hey.
But yeah, I feel. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say maybe we chug through the rest of these symbols, but what were you gonna say?
Oh, I feel like it's coming together for me. I feel like I have a pretty good idea on what this dream was about, but
This part of the dream is making a lot of sense. I'm interested to see what the second part of the dream means.
Yeah.
Right? I'm interested to get into those symbols.
yeah, should we do that and then talk about the meaning, or do I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, no, we can get into what you're feeling right now, like currently.
And then see how
Like-
the rest of it plays into that.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I do feel like so far what we have is compelling enough that I don't think there's going to be a surprise meaning behind door number 2. So I don't feel like we're leading the witness by talking about it now.
Yeah. Whatever you're feeling. Yeah.
I feel like it's an optimistic dream. I feel like it's about opportunity. Like that's the word that is resonating with me right now, thinking about this dream. Is I think it's my subconscious feeling good about the presence of opportunity. And I think this has come from like a lot of conversations with Shelby, because she's a very optimistic person and I'm not. I have a tendency to get very down in the dumps about the way things are. And she has a tendency to look at the way things could go based on the way they're set up. It's like it's a pragmatic sort of optimism that works for me a lot better than blind optimism. And so this dream is just making me think of real world examples. I'm working on this podcast Weaponized that is doing really well, and we're coming close to the end of season 1. And the things we're talking about for season 2 could be a game changer for me. But I'm very excited about that and how that's going. Also, I realized as we're talking about this that the day before I had this dream, I got a email about a job application I'd put out there. I just did the interview today, actually, and it's a cool job. It's in media. I don't think I'm going to get it, but the fact that I just got a bite on an application for a cool job, and then that night had this dream. I feel like it has to do with me processing like, oh shit, there are like opportunities. Like this isn't a lost cause. Things are moving forward. Sometimes it feels like we're running in place, but like when it rains, it pours, and there's a thunderstorm coming. Like things are going to be cool very soon. I just have to be patient and like take action when there's an action item to be taken.
So I want to get into the other symbols, but just like briefly, just so we can kind of prime it a little bit. Like, what's your like first impression of what the rest of the dream means? Why the theater? Why, like, what's Shelby's involvement? What's the deal with the outfits?
The outfits are the weird part. That's where I feel like, especially with the colors, like I feel like the symbology there will be interesting. But I feel like running the errand has to do with like the last thing I just said. Like I'll take action when there's an action item to be taken. Because I think this dream is about positivity over opportunity. And there's there's a little bit of stress in the, like, I've done everything I can for now and the rest is up to the universe, but there's also a relief in there if you choose to focus on that and try to, like, maybe turn that anxiety into diligence to take initiative when you need to. And that's what the errand reminds me of, is like, that was the feeling of the movie theater errand in the dream. If I had to guess, the movie theater would be like, you know, this industry in which I'm working, that's like entertainment, communications, media, that sort of thing. Yeah. And I took this errand very seriously, whatever it was.
Do you think you feel conflicted at all inside yourself about the idea of leaving LA or like giving up on the work ideas? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You feel conflicted about that. That would be painful, probably, right? To do if you were like, okay, I gotta move on and go to Colorado or whatever.
Yeah, that's a big time plan B for me. That's not
for sure. Yeah,
I've worked really hard here and have moved forward and feel like I'm on the precipice of something here.
Yeah, I think something that I feel like has come up in the last couple of dreams we've talked about with Zach stuff is I keep getting a sense of like a feeling of being conflicted about the idea of leaving Los Angeles.
Really? I've talked about leaving here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've been talking about it a lot. Like, not that you want to, but that it's on the table because you're worried about things not going a certain way, you know, like if things don't work out.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right. I do feel like I've talked about it, like couched in the idea of a backup plan or like a fantasy, because I don't exactly love Los Angeles. So like,
sure,
if things didn't work out, I'm not going to stay for LA.
Yeah, but that's the work, right? The thing you care about is doing the work that you want to do, right? Right. So it's like, at least it feels like to me, what I've gotten from your last couple of dreams has been like you trying to work through feelings you're having that you're trying to process about like how you might have to decide to like walk away from the dreams of the work that you're pursuing out here, and like you trying to sort through those feelings, you know. That's how it seems to me anyway. It's like that sucks and that you don't want to do it, but then on part of you is down to do that because you have other priorities or other things that you care about, you know. And that it would be worth it on some level is like an idea that you're wrestling with, you know, if you have to.
Yeah, that's all true. But this dream definitely felt like a renewal of the optimism and positivity that exists here. Like,
I think like the aspirational element of it is like, I want this to work out. I want to be this, or, you know, I could see it being two things really. It's like partly on one end, it's like the aspiration to have the work stuff succeed and to be able to stay and like have the LA dream work out, right? But then at the same time, there's an aspiration to be the version of yourself that is like happy and unconflicted about putting that stuff behind you and going and creating a new life somewhere if you have to, you know? And it's like, it's two kind of contradictory desires for yourself. Like instead of being kind of torn between those two things, it's being able to be like totally in one or totally in the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah. As a train of thought, it makes sense. I'm not sure where that came from.
Well, I'm reflecting on
this dream.
I guess I'm also thinking about like the last dream that we did, right? Like I felt like the last dream of yours that we did, there was like, at least it seemed to me, there was like some like internal conflict or tension or whatever. And so like, the reason I'm bringing it up is because you said like, well, I don't know if there's anything to get into in the second half of the dream. And if there is anything there, it's just like an affirmation of the positive feelings I'm having in the first half of the dream. But like, I think like it's definitely possible that like somewhere buried in that second half of the dream is more stuff that has to do with like some anxiety about this stuff or some conflict about this stuff or like some tension between like, you know, these two paths that are kind of present and you're trying to be able to do both or whatever. Does that make sense? That it might be more tapping into some conflict stuff. But we haven't looked at the entries. I don't know. It's just like, my gut would be that might have to do more with your like anxieties, and your gut is that it would be like more of like just further affirmation of like positive feelings. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Running the errand felt like I was happy to do it because I was presented with this opportunity. Like this dude is literally ushering me into privilege, to like a better life. And I was filled with a sense of gratitude in the dream. And so the errand didn't feel like a ton of like there's inherently pressure in it.
Sure.
But I didn't feel pressured. I felt like I wanted to do a good job. And I felt like Shelby was helping me a lot by driving me there and giving me input. And I feel like that's reflective of her real world role in my life.
Yeah.
As a highly supportive partner. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I feel like the colors of the outfits or the outfit itself, or maybe what a movie theater is, might surprise me.
Yeah. No, we should dig into it. I just, couple of questions and then I'll get into the entries. Did you get the sense, like, first, do you remember what you were planning to do at the movie theater?
No, I don't remember.
No. And did you get the sense that this was the one errand you needed to run and then you'd get to be rich guy, or this was like the first thing and you were going to be doing this for a long time?
Maybe not a long time, but it was just a fast
step one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
It felt kind of benign. Like it wasn't a big ask. And that whatever I was going to do was going to maybe be questioned. Like once I got there, somebody at the movie theater might be like, what are you doing? Because they look at me like a plebe or something. And then what I have in my back pocket is like, oh no, I work for so-and-so.
Gotcha.
And that I would be able to pull this off as long as they knew why I was there. But I knew that I didn't look the part.
Right. Did you feel like the theater was for rich guys, or that you?
No, I just felt like I wasn't acting like a patron.
Gotcha.
It was like a normal theater, but I was like going through the special line or whatever.
Gotcha.
And they were going to call me out on that. Like I was just walking
special guy stuff.
I was walking into first class or whatever, and I was going to have to do some smooth talking. But as long as Mr. Monopoly is a call away, I'll be fine.
Cool. Okay. And then you described the outfit as like a t-shirt and underwear.
Yeah.
Am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to get into some entries. So movie theater. To dream that you were in a movie theater represents an experience in life that is so interesting or important to you that you go out of your way to have it. A significant event or a situation that you may invest a lot of time or money in. You're making an effort to indulge yourself in something. Situations that may encourage a dream of a movie theater may be plans to fly to another country, buying something you know is too expensive, or being very motivated to try something new. All situations where you are very focused on ensuring that something you want to experience happens at any cost.
Yes, that all resonated big time.
So is that the career aspirations, or is that your relationship? Because it feel like it could apply to both of those things.
Mm-hmm. I had the same thought.
Yeah, it could apply to both at the same time. It immediately made me think of career stuff, especially with Weaponized, because also like around the same time I got this email about this job opportunity, I recorded an episode of Weaponized, and we talked about how we're close to the end of this season and possibilities for next season.
That's awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. Jeremy's talking. Well, I don't want to say too much, but
yeah, we're really excited for you. I hope that works out.
I think I felt a sense of renewed hope in the midst of like all of this stress, and I think that's what's being reflected here, and that's exactly what the movie theater. But you're right. I could totally also apply that to Shelby. She just made this huge move here for me, and like.
And it like added to the financial instability, right? Like you guys are going through it, but that's the big stress. It's like, we did this big thing. It's so worth it, but there's a cost associated with it. The
thing that made me think it was maybe more about the relationship is that it seems to imply this is like the thing that has to happen no matter what. And ultimately, you have decided that you would choose this relationship over the career stuff if it came to that.
Right.
If it came to that.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. So it's like the career stuff could be part of the cost that's baked into the thing that must happen, which
And
is
this is the part of the
this
dream.
relationship.
Yeah, and this is the part of the dream where Shelby showed up.
Yeah. Okay.
But it really
interesting.
did. It felt like she was helping me with this theater errand.
And I could see it being both, but yeah, my first thought was that it was about the relationship, because it's like, that's the thing that like feels like it's like causes a little bit of precariousness in like your like the stability of the living situation, right? But is like so worth it, right? Okay, clothing. To dream of clothing represents how the personality is being expressed or portrayed in various situations. Clothing can symbolize different aspects of your character, current emotional state, and the roles you assume in a situation. Consider the style, value, and color of the clothing for additional meaning.
Okay.
That's right. It's like personality stuff.
Well, style was underwear.
Right. Yeah. Let's look at underwear next too.
I mean, right off the bat,
Yeah.
that does feel like a vulnerability thing.
Yeah, and I peeked at the colors. I'm interested to see how the pink might.
Yeah.
Because it feels unrelated to me, but like maybe would resonate with you somehow.
And these were, by the way, pink and blue, like babies,
baby
like
colors?
baby cigars. Yeah, like binary pink and blue.
Gotcha.
Side note, did you know that those colors used to be swapped and that pink was for little boys?
Really?
Because it's like, because
off
it's like blood and murder, but like soft because it's a baby.
Right.
That's so weird. And then blue was feminine because it was gentle and the color of the sky and the ocean.
Yeah.
I
Mother
don't know
Earth.
why they switched, but they did switch at some point, like historically.
Probably
Like,
the
not that
same
long
time
ago
the
either.
political party switched.
Like 100 years or something, not like a crazy long time. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay, so I'm gonna read like just kind of what options fall under clothing, just so we know what's there. To dream of buying new clothes, to dream of receiving clothes as a gift, that might be in here, that might fit.
Yeah.
To dream of someone wearing your clothes, to dream of being well dressed, to dream of changing clothes.
That's it, right?
To dream
That's
of
relevant.
clothes that is too tight, to dream of being unable to find your clothes, to dream of wearing tattered or dirty clothing, black clothes, green clothes, light green clothes, white clothes, pink clothing, taking off layers. God, there's a lot of topics under clothing.
Let's definitely do the color clothes and changing clothes.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
changing clothes.
So
for sure.
we'll do gift. Or should I do underwear and then come back to this?
I'm curious about the changing clothes.
Yeah, I would start
Okay.
with changing clothes and then underwear and then colors.
I'll do
And definitely pink clothes because the color pink seems like.
I'll do receiving clothes as a gift first, because I'm going to go in order from top to bottom.
Okay.
Could suggest that someone in your life is trying to influence or support your self-image, or that you're accepting a new role or responsibility bestowed upon you by others.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
That
how does that...
completely resonates with Shelby giving me this.
Tell me about that.
I mean, they use the word support, which I've been saying. Like, I feel like she's supportive of these things I'm trying to accomplish and literally helping me on a day-to-day basis. But also the part about changing,
Like the new role or responsibilities.
yeah, there's a big element of that with this relationship that I have never experienced before, which is, I guess taking it seriously.
Huh.
But yeah, I've been very open to discussing like lifestyle changes. I don't know how to put this like broadly. Like I'm just open to a lot of change that comes with dating Shelby.
Stopped eating crackers in bed.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, like little stuff like that. I'm not talking about any big.
I hear you, brother.
I'm not talking about any big overhauls. I'm talking about like cleaning the toilet more often and like.
She made me get rid of my ratty New Balances that had big old... Well, I still have them, but I'm not allowed to wear them anymore.
Get rid of them. They have holes in all over the bottoms of them. You can't wear them when there's water outside, which is 9 months out of the year.
They were my everyday shoe, but she said, you can't wear those out in
How many pairs of
public.
shoes have I bought you?
More than I've bought myself. I promise you that.
Yeah, they're I don't know if this is inherently like a guy phenomenon, but when you like meet the one, there's like, you stop being so stubborn about dumb shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Well, and also like the new responsibility thing makes me think of how like, okay, you guys are going to need to like find a new place together, right?
Yeah.
And like that is that's more responsibility. It sounds like if you were on your own, you'd probably keep living in your current situation or something similar for a while, right?
I'd be willing to, yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
it sounds like. Sorry, go ahead.
Also, Shelby has a child.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's an incredible amount of responsibility that she has that I not only respect, but am, to go back to what you were saying, Victor, about that I was confused about at first, the possibility of going back to Colorado. Like if I wasn't this serious about Shelby, like that wouldn't even be a conversation. But like, I know she has a kid there, and it's like, if we can't make it work here in a way that benefits her and the kid, then other options need to be discussed. Like that's what resonates about the like taking on new responsibility thing. It's like, yeah, it's not my kid, but like I care about this kid already. And I want to do everything that I can to make everything make sense, not only for her and me, but for this child.
Yeah. And it sounds like you've shifted your perspective a little bit to where it's not just about you making it in LA. Like if Shelby's not happy in LA, even if you were making it, it sounds like you would probably choose to leave.
Yeah. And well, ideally making it looks like we have enough expendable income that she can spend a lot of time in Colorado.
Sure.
And that we live in like a nice enough neighborhood and in a big enough place that the kid can come stay with us for extended periods of time. And we can sort of merge Colorado and California lives together.
Yeah.
But if me achieving my dreams is going to look like 5, 6, 10 more years of slumming it out the way I am now, that's not going to work for Shelby. And we're going to need to reconcile that at a certain point.
Yeah. But like the details almost don't matter. I mean, it's worth trying to get to that place, because the ideal situation is you stay where you are and you are making enough money to support like you guys operating that way. But like you can, like, the money is almost not a factor, right? It's like you're together, you're going to stick it out. You're you're committed to each other. And so if one of you was miserable in LA or like couldn't bear to live there anymore and needed to go, you two would go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, that is a big shift, right? It's gone from, well, I'm here. If I can crack the work stuff, then we're golden. I'm doing the work I want to do in the place I want to do the work I want to do in, right? Yeah. But now it's about, there's two people that need to be happy now, not just one.
So that's the shift in responsibility. Yeah. Because the money is important insofar as it's a tool to foster the life that's going to be the most beneficial.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So to dream of changing clothes represents a change of attitude, behavior, interest, or feelings towards a situation or your self-image. It may indicate that you are altering your approach to a problem, embracing new ideas, or adapting to new roles and responsibilities. I feel like that's everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
The same stuff we were already talking about. Changing how you act or feel, approaching a situation differently or choosing to change. A change in your personal life, career, or relationships as you adjust to new circumstances and adopt new perspectives. A change in the role you are assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same stuff. Let's see pink clothes.
Pink clothes. Okay. I don't know if there was blue clothes. But to dream of pink clothing represents the personality that is sensitive about other people's feelings or very focused on women.
Huh.
Negatively, dreaming of pink clothing may represent the personality being lustful, having strong sexual desire, or consumed by sexual thinking. Pink clothing may be a sign that you should be careful not to rush anything, embarrassing yourself with a woman who is being nice to you.
Well, huh.
But that is kind of like, she just moved out there. You were like doe-eyed about her. You light up every time you talk about her. You got this happy smile on your face. You're clearly like infatuated. You're crazy about this girl. It's obvious. So like, yeah, that makes sense.
Why would she make me change out of the pink though?
I don't know if there's a blue clothing entry, but
There's
the
not.
blue entry is like positivity and optimism, I guess.
Is it?
Why don't you look at the blue? Just look at blue.
I will. Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense, especially with the first part of Pink, where it was about like being overly sensitive, or maybe I'm throwing in the word overly, but like being sensitive to other people. I feel like there's some implied weakness in the Pink clothes entry.
I don't know that I'd call it that. Like, I mean, it sounded like there was a negative entry. There was like a negative component of it that was like, with a lot of Dream Bible stuff, it's like, eggs mean you're happy. Negatively, eggs mean you're happy in a fucked up way.
No, Pink is a negative entry. I read it. As is red. They're both like just negative symbols in general. But like, it doesn't mean.
But the idea of like that being symbolic of being like in an infatuated place, like in like a new relationship place, which you're kind of experiencing, because even though you've been together for a while, this is like you're getting used to living together and seeing each other every day and being like it's like there's honeymoon stuff happening, So like that's how it read to me, is like that you're very excited about this new phase for this relationship.
Was it light blue?
Like I said, it was like baby cigar blue, like blue. Like,
okay.
I'm looking for something in my like this hat. This blue.
Oh, okay. So that's a darker blue, I would say.
That might be how it's showing up on the camera, but yeah, it's like.
But like baby blue, you're talking about.
Not baby blue. Baby blue is light blue.
Yeah, but I don't know that we're seeing that blue.
I think if you Google image blue, listeners.
It's middle blue.
Why don't you find a blue and send it to us in the chat?
The very
is it
first
the color of the Zoom blue.
If you Google image blue, the very first one that comes up.
It's giving me an ad for blue.
Like primary color blue.
That's a light blue to me.
That seems like light blue to me. Yeah.
Okay.
So the color light blue represents positivity. It can point to thoughts, emotions, or behaviors that are healthy, helpful, genuine, and honest. Light blue can also represent a very positive situation or positive choice. Alternatively, light blue can symbolize sensitivity, kindness, or feeling that a situation cares about you. Okay, and keep chugging along here. So, should we bother with Pink? It's like lustfulness, sexual desire, motivation, drive, and ambition.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
because if your focus is shifting. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And I think there's significance to like Shelby taking the initiative to be like, you should change out of that and into this.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting out of that dynamic is based on these two colors and the colored clothes entry. I feel like that has to do with like a suggestion to switch from thinking so much about like drive and ambition and almost like an ego-driven reach for career and success to switch to this more like optimistic like pursuit of happiness and goodness. Just based on everything I've heard of so far of Pink and blue, or the impressions that I'm getting, like what's resonating, that and what we got from the changing clothes entry, and the fact that Shelby's the one being like, you should make this change in the context of this errand that I'm running for this rich guy. It feels like it has to do with this suggestion that maybe I've even inferred from her in real life is to not think of it as so much this like pressure that you put on yourself to quote unquote succeed, and think of it as a pursuit of the things you need in life to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a healthy framing of it, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces, and it's hard to like nail each one to the wall and string yarn between them and show how it works. But that's like a summary of the feelings I have right now.
I guess I could do two, but one last entry I want to read. Underwear. To dream of underwear represents your most personal beliefs or wishes, hidden attitudes, and prejudices. Alternatively, underwear represents your personal view towards sex or your sexual attraction to someone. I don't think that is what connects here. Something private about yourself that you might be embarrassed for other people to discover about you.
Zach's Bigfoot.
And it says, consider the color of the underwear for additional meaning. Yeah.
So it's like a vulnerability thing. I mean, that tracks with having to go run this errand knowing that I'm not yet the bigwig, and that
Sure, yeah.
it's going to be a little exposing to have to, almost like an imposter syndrome thing. Like, this is going to feel weird, but you just have to get through it in order to get to the next phase where it won't feel weird.
Yeah, I don't want to like force my interpretation or whatever, but like the reason I was saying like, oh, well, I'm kind of seeing what we've been seeing in your dreams as XYZ, right? Is because the feeling I've gotten is that there's this like shift, or like this like desire for like deep like feelings to shift, of like, I think like there's been a deep feeling of wanting to like do the podcast thing and like crack the career stuff for a long time. And I feel like there's like a shift now, which could be healthy, could be a totally good thing, but there's a shift now to like trying to change the inner feelings away from that being the thing that's most important to that's a thing that would be nice, but is not the fundamental thing. The fundamental thing is like your relationship with Shelby and like what that represents and like the future you guys have together and that stuff, and like, so like that the idea of like, if underwear is like a deep desire and like Shelby is like helping you change your underwear from like one color to another color.
Yeah.
And like
every day
like
helps me change
the
my
dream
mind.
Like if the beginning of the dream is all like all of these ambitions and all of these drives and like this strive to be like your most perfect self, and then this task is like you're being sent out in the world to like take a crack at that, right? You're walking down the road towards what is successful Zach gonna look like? What is rich eccentric guy Zach gonna look like? And you show up in one pair of underwear, and Shelby is like, no, that's not gonna do. This is the outlook that you need, right? This is what the deep inner feelings should be as you go in and do that thing, right? That's what I'm getting out of this. And maybe I'm just imposing my own thoughts onto it, but it feels like for me, it invokes like that you are on some level trying to change how you feel about the idea of sticking it out in LA. Like you were trying to change from that being painful to have to not do if it didn't work out, to being like good with it if it goes in that direction,
Yeah, no, I think that's apt overall, but the conclusion of what you just said, I would amend to I think this dream is about changing those motivations, like changing that deep-seated feeling, but I'm still getting like an overall optimism and like reinvigoration of the drive from this dream, but I do think it has to do with like changing that deeply rooted motivation from a place of like, I have to do this because I want to feel good about myself and I want to like quote unquote make it in the world, which is more what it was as a single person. And now it has to do with, I want to do this so that I can be happy and be the best partner I can be and support and like create a life that is going to be nurturing for both of us. Like it's still the same thing I'm reaching for, but the drive for it is almost reinvigorated because it's no longer about my ego or self-worth or whatever, which has a point of diminishing returns, because you can only sustain that motivation for so long before you go, who cares? Who even cares anymore? And I feel like I was getting close to that point.
No, I can totally relate to that. Like I feel like I have found my life partner, and we're gonna stick it out for another couple of years, and then we'll see what happens. No, we're gonna be together forever.
You want to see what the baby looks like?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it all depends on how cute this baby is.
But like that has changed my like priorities significantly, and there were things that were on my like, I got to do this to be happy with myself list that like have shrunk in meaning. I've been talking about that, I put out my album, right? I spent years agonizing over that of like, oh, it's not gonna be good enough. Oh, I need to make this. I need to do. I put it off and off and off, and just like ate me alive because it took such like a big space in my brain. And then when I finally did it, it was like I kind of just shat something out. It was not the perfect thing that I had built up in my head as needing it to be the whole time. And then when I finally put it out, and the stuff that I would have been so excited to be doing, where it's like I'm on like a record label. I had my album pressed into vinyl. I was playing shows. I was meeting other musicians and stuff. And the whole time I was like, I don't really care. I want to go home. I got a baby on the way. I got other shit I'm doing right now. I'm just tired. Like, it's cool to have it out there. I love that like a few people have been like connecting with it and listening to it, and like that means a lot to me. But doing the motions of trying to put myself out there as a musician all just feels like very hollow and silly to me. And it's like, fuck man, I'm 30. I'm married. I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care in the same way. I still care. I still want to make music. I still want to record music and put it out. But like, it just is a different thing for me now. And there's other ways in which my priorities have shifted. And just, I don't know. It's a good thing. I think it is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think, there's a danger in like tricking yourself or like suppressing your feelings, right? So it's like you can like, if you want so badly to not care about like making it in LA, that you like trick yourself into thinking you really feel that way, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna put that behind me, I'm gonna move to Colorado, I'm gonna move on with my life. If that's coming from a place of like repressing your true feelings and burying your true feelings, that's going to fuck you up down the road, where like that will come back as regret, right? But if the shift is like genuine and it's really coming from a place of like, no, I like see myself more clearly, I see what matters to me more clearly, and I feel differently than I did, then that's just beautiful. That's just growth and change, and like you becoming the eccentric rich guy, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to sort through, right? Like sometimes you don't know what you really want. I don't know. Fuck. Now I'm definitely rambling now, but do you get what I'm saying?
You're lost in a hole.
Do you hear me?
You're lost.
I'm lost in the sauce. I need another beer.
Yeah, no, Shelby and I had a conversation just recently after having this dream, about going back to Colorado as a actual potential, because it's come up before as a, plan B or whatever. And recently it came up as because she went back to see her family and was sort of gutted by how much she missed her daughter and was wishing we could merge these two lives. And it's tricky because I don't know what it's like to have a kid. And she was saying she doesn't know what it's like to have a dream that you're following. And I kind of explained to her that like, it's not even just about like following a dream at this point. Like I'm trying to pave the way for a life that I want to live. Like I'm going on 34 years of well, no, that's not true. Since whenever I entered the job force, I haven't really liked day-to-day existence. And I've been trying to change that to just be okay with like 40 hours a week. Like that's so much of your life. And I haven't liked most of it. And
I hear you completely.
And I'm on the brink of changing that and getting into like, it's not about money and it's not about recognition. It's about just like spending my days doing something that I may have chosen to do on a day off because it's not prison. It's an enjoyable pursuit. It's just so it's hard to imagine giving that up. When I've worked so hard for it to just at baseline want to be alive. And that was a tough conversation because that's hard to reconcile.
Yeah.
The fact that like, if I could give that up, and I feel like this is making me sound massively selfish, but
no,
if I could give that up and just go back to Colorado, things would be simple for everyone else but me.
I don't, that is very hard, and it's not selfish. It's really not. You're an independent person. You have independent needs and wants and dreams and everything, right? Like, I consider myself very lucky that, like, I've said before, like, I feel totally satisfied and accomplished and done in certain areas of my life, like my marriage. And then there are other parts of my life where I still have like a real like yearning aspiration for more, right? And it's like career stuff and like personal accomplishment stuff. And I feel very lucky that those things don't come into conflict, right? The things that I want are not in conflict with the relationship that I have, right? They could be, you know. When we were talking about the music stuff, something that me and Olivia talked about and that was stressing Olivia out was the idea that like if what I was doing caught traction, she really would not want me like trying to do like the touring musician thing. Like that would not be good. And I thankfully am like in a place where I wouldn't really want that either, you know? But like that could have been, you know, potentially like an area where like what was good for our marriage and what was good for me as like an artistic aspiration would have been like in conflict, right? And I don't know how we would have resolved that. Like something would have had to get figured out, you know. But like that thing you're talking about, that's a real fucking problem, you know. Like I like what I was saying earlier is the sense I've gotten the last couple of times we've done your dreams is that it feels like you're trying to change something within yourself and that it's a struggle and that there's internal conflicts around it of like, you know, you don't want to feel like you're being pulled in two different directions, right? You know, and so all I would say is like that's valid. There's nothing selfish about that. It's like but like I wouldn't resolve it by burying your own thoughts and feelings and like just kind of trying to, you know, convince yourself that you feel a certain way, because it will just be temporary, right? And you will end up being like, why did I like throw away that relationship that meant so much to me, or why did I throw away that career that meant so much to me, or whatever? Like, yeah. if you're not being real with yourself, you know, if you're just trying to be the version of yourself you think you're supposed to be to kind of get through the conflict or whatever, it will end up eating you up down the road. I don't know what else you're supposed to do, but I know that's not going to work. Fuck.
Luckily, I do think this dream was about a renewed optimism in my ability to reconcile the two. It felt like it was a career aspiration dream that had a lot to do with Shelby helping me, and because what it brought up for me was my actual prospects, like the things I think that I am honestly on the precipice of that would, if they come to fruition, bridge the gap. And this is something that Shelby has said time and time again. Like she's, like I said, very optimistic in a pragmatic way. And I feel like this dream has to do with me, like finally letting that sink in and believing that we can reconcile both, that we can achieve what we need to in order to not have to make that like fork in the road decision that you're describing.
Yeah. And it, like what it feels like to me is like, so like first part of the dream is what's this, like, how do I go from Zach that has like undecided things about life to like the version of yourself that's like happy and got it figured out, right? And then this moment of like trading clothes with Shelby or whatever could mean like there are multiple paths to that happiness. There are multiple versions of what happy Zach can look like, and they're all out there. And like you do get to choose. Like there are multiple roads to you being happy. You know, there's not just one road and a bunch of ways to do it wrong. You know.
And I think I'm in this dream seeing her is helping me do it in the way that would be ideal for me.
Yeah.
Which is true in real life, and I'm very grateful for that.
You got any thoughts, Liv? You're so pregnant.
I'm fully invested. I've been fully invested this whole time. I just want everyone to know that.
I believe you.
Yeah.
What you got for us?
Terrible
cooking?
heartburn.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we cracked it, and that Olivia needs to go relax.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to The Young and the Restless.
You can follow us on social media at The Jung and the Restless Pod and submit your dreams for interpretation to thejungandtherestlesspod at gmail.
And as we always say,
A piss in the pan is worth two in the can.
Pick you a tiger